Well, the last lesson in this chapter is properties of real numbers. And again, I want you to list the objectives in your notes as well as the vocabulary. Previously, we've translated words into expressions. Now we're going to translate words into equations. So an algebraic equation is a statement that two expressions have equal value. Equality is denoted by the following phrases: equals, gives, is, was, should be, yields, amounts to, represents, and is the same as. So if you see these types of words in a word phrase, then you know that it would be translated as an equality sign for your equation. Let's put some of this to practice. We're to translate the following sentences into algebraic symbols. The difference of what operation? Yes, we're going to be subtracting 7 in a number is less than 42. So is less than would be the less than sign. So 7 minus x is less than 42. So we use the inequality symbol less than. Quotient. What operation are we performing? Division, that's correct. The quotient of y and twice x, so we've got a 2x, is the same as, use equality symbols. The product is multiplication, so we're going to multiply 4 and z. So y divided by 2x is the same as 4z. Very good. So here is a chart. This would be very good to place in your notes as well, with the given symbols associated with the words or what it means. Notice that we have A is less than B. The symbol always points to the smallest value. This could also mean that B is greater than A, because the open sign, the larger sign, points to the larger number, and the inequality symbol points to the smaller value. For any two real numbers, A and B, A is less than B if A is to the left of B on the number line. So notice it's pointing to the smaller number, so that means A is to the left of B on the number line. Here, this means that A is to the right of B on the number line. For example, we're to insert an inequality symbol between a 0 and a negative 7/8 to make the statement true. So we have to figure out which one of these is smaller, 0 or negative 7/8. Why negative 7/8? Of course, it falls to the left, so it points to the smaller number. So 0 is greater than negative 7/8. Now for identities. For addition, 0 is the identity, because when you add 0 to anything, it leaves you with this, what you started with. So that's why 0 is the identity for addition. Whereas if you multiply any number by 1, 1 is the identity for multiplication, because you end up with the original. Now inverses is what you get, you're going to add to something to get 0. So for addition, the inverse is the opposite of A. For multiplication, the inverse for B is 1 over B, because the product will always equal 1. This is also known as the reciprocal. So whatever number you got, if you multiply it by its reciprocal, the product will give you a 1. Notice that number 0 has no reciprocal, because there is no number when multiplied by 0 that will give you a product of 1. Commutative properties. Now, so many students get commutative and associative properties mixed up. If you remember commutative, you're commuting, just like you commute from school to work, from school to home. You're going from one place to another. So the commutative property means that we're switching places. Notice we start with an A plus B, then we go to B plus A. Notice the A and B switch places. Commutative property is true for addition and multiplication. But if you'll notice, it commutes. The B commutes to a different spot, or the A commutes to a different spot. So when you see commutative, you know that you're trading places. So we could use the commutative property in this example to move the negative 24 to a different spot. We can do this because this is for addition. Everything's adding, even though we're adding a negative number, we're still using addition. And then solve. So our answer is just 7. Now, associative property is like being at a dinner party where you stay in your same place. Sometimes you visit with the person on the left. Sometimes you visit with the person on the right. So what is unique about associative property is a lot of times you'll see the grouping symbols moved. So here it's grouping B and C. Next time it's grouping A and B. So say that you're B. Sometimes you're talking to the person on your right. Sometimes you're talking to the person on your left at a dinner party. So just associate associative property with grouping symbol changes. Notice we put grouping symbols around 245 and a positive 245 and a negative 245. So we're going to group these using the associative property. Also notice we're grouping them. We're changing their grouping. So our answer is 70. And finally is the distributive property. Now, one thing I have noticed where the biggest mistake is made is when students are using the distributive property, they'll go 7 times 4 just fine, but they forget the 7 times 2. So when you're using the distributive property, whatever's on the outside of the parentheses has to be distributed along everything inside the parentheses. So our answer for this one is 42. Very good. You're ready to begin working on the assignment.